So we must make some global deductions and some very local deductions in this puzzle to even start. I mean, I must tell you that this solve will be a lot different than all the other solves, and I'm not exactly trying to like prove everything in a completely formal way, because I think that some of the details you can follow some of the details from yourself. Or if you are just solving and you're using my guide to have like a follow along, that's enough. What I'm about to say should be enough to understand what's going on in the puzzle and what the solve path is. I'm saying that because if you want a complete formal proof of every step, it's a nightmare. But at the same time, there is enough regularity in this puzzle that allows you to see that if something is gonna go that way, it's probably gonna go that way every time, because the way it's constructed, it's forced to be like that. I'm trying to explain, and I want to be clear. You can prove pretty much everything, but it's not the easiest thing ever to do that. That said, if you have some questions about why I said one specific thing, please ask. I'll try to explain or try to show why. I'm not sure about my ability to explain everything in this puzzle, but I'll try to. I'm pretty confident on every one of my steps. But yeah, or reach me in private. I mean, everything is fine. Yeah, everything is absolutely fine in that sense. Anyway, the first thing that I want to show you all is this. You cannot avoid an entire branch. What do I mean with branch? Now we need some notation and some information. Okay, I'm gonna use really. I'm not kidding. We must use a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna tell you that every one of those moves. I think that you can see my paint.net used to do some stuff here. Probably 5 is good. Yeah, 5 is good. Like, my question is to all of you, can I really avoid one entire branch of these? Like, I'm calling branch a side, one of the sides of this long thing, considering also these. So any one of those is just a branch of these, and you can think at that stuff, and I mean, we will use that. We can imagine that you have at any one of those points some circles, and you have some bridges that connect all of them, okay? I swear I'm trying to make it less formal, as informal as I can. But I need to state something. Like, imagine that every one of those is an ending of something, okay? And you can clearly say that we don't need some of them. Like, we don't need these, we don't need these, because when you enter, you must exit at the same time. So any one of those is just not needed. This one, but you have all the others that are just also this one is not needed, this one is not needed. So when you enter these, you must go all the way around. But the whole point is that you can't avoid any of those. You must connect any one of those. Now, The reason why you must use any one of those is that you have always at least a stripe of 4 things, vertical or horizontal. In this case, as you can see, like in puzzle 51, we had this exact situation in which we had something that went this way, and we had to use the middle path, okay? We had to use the middle path because if you don't want to use the middle path, and I can clearly show you that in a second if you want. Like, yeah, let me use this. If here I want to not use the middle path, now I must recoil down for all of my vertical moves, okay? Going up. That is working. That is absolutely working, okay? It's not that you can't do that. But when you try to do that, you can even... now you can't go straight because, I mean, you have nothing to go to the right. But, I mean, you can do this. You can do this, absolutely you can, and now you're reaching the middle part with this being outside, okay? So everything here works. Here, even you can go up and then use this cell that is outside to recoil here and now continue down. So you have a lot of things that you can do. The problem is, and here things get a little bit complicated, that you can do also the other direction above, like you can do these. And I think you can clearly see that this thing, with some exceptions, will just work, okay? The problem is that at a certain point you will reach the same thing at the other direction, and so you must connect this way and you must start. But as you can see, there are a lot of options at the start of this puzzle, because every time you do something, it's just not forced. It's just not forced because, like, you can literally end wherever you want. You can go through one of those in 3 different ways: this way, in the middle, or at the end. And you can even switch at a certain point, like you go here and then you go 2 times, and then you go here, then you go this way now, and now probably you want to retard down, and so on and so on and so on. The fact, though, is that you can't, for many reasons. The first one is that, as I said, you can't just avoid one entire strip. And the reason why you can't just avoid an entire strip is that if you want to avoid, like, for example, I don't know, let's imagine that you want to avoid this entire thing, so you're never gonna enter this area, like, as well. Just this area, okay? This thing means that you have all of these things to just not use. And this thing, sadly, just has literal big repercussions on the puzzle. What the fuck is this thing? Hi, Buzz. This thing is puzzle number 46. And as you can see, we will solve it on Paint. I'm not kidding. Because we have something to do here. Okay, so the problem is this. How do you even recoil everything here? Because the big problem is that when you do that, you are using, who said this? Setter number 46, of course. It's hard to explain, but the problem is that if you try, like, to use as much of those as you can, at a certain point, you are leaving, like, you can't use, like, I'm trying to show you just for a second, just to let you understand the problem. Like, yeah, I'm trying to use as many of those as I can, okay? Let me do this. No, I can't. I can't even do that. Probably this works. No, I can't. Yeah, I can't even do that, sadly. But yeah, at a certain point in some directions, to use, like, to force of all of these, like, imagine that you want to do that, I don't know, here. you are never reaching this side, because you should take every one of those moves to make that working, and you just can't do that, because even if you try, I mean, okay, imagine that we are not talking about all the rest. Every time you go straight to take something, you are not taking the rest, and if you want to take all of these for these, now not only you're not taking the rest, but you are also giving other non taken cells, and so like it's too much time. It's too much cells in each row and each column if you avoid an entire of those sides, an entire branch, because of the way it's constructed. Because it's always a stripe of 4 or even more, like you can see here, or even here. That's just too much. And for the same reason, you must touch every one of those branches. And you have a problem, because now if you want to touch every one of those branches, you have problems at any intersection, because you can't ever do that. You can't just like oh no, just connect this way. You are forced to continue. Like if you start from here, or you go up, or you go down. You cannot like this works, or the other thing works. This one going down and this one goes up, but you can't just cross. The fact that you can't just cross is really relevant at this point. Like, yeah, you can't do that. But you're touching every one of those branches. And now, if we establish that we must take each branch of those things, because every time you try to not use one of those, you are just avoiding too many cells, and you will never recover them because of the large spaces that you have in the puzzle. You will never recoil those things. The same problems arises when you try to never recoil, like imagine that you want to never recoil. Let me use that as an example. One of those cells, like this one, or just to be like to be clear, this one, like this cell, just this cell. If you go here and you go down, 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 yeah. So now you don't want to recoil this cell, so I don't know, you do that. Now, if you try to not recoil this cell, yeah, probably I can do that to just avoid some stuff. If you want to recoil this one, you must go through 2 times these, okay? And this works, of course. But now, every time you make a move like this, and this is the big problem, because we know that you must take all of those things, you're using the same approach to the other side, because at this point you can't just go here, because you would close this gap, okay? So there are 2 ways of doing that. Or you don't touch, so you don't use that, and if you don't do that now, you will never do that again, because I mean, you can try to go this way and so on and so on and so on, but at a certain point you want to return down, and like just imagine, no? And now that you want to go here, okay, you're using this, and now you're going down, and now you're going up, and now you're continuing, and so on and so on and so on. But at a certain point you must connect here, okay? And again, you're doing that now, and as you can see, you are leaving a lot of other gaps around the grid. You're doing that, so you must use all of these to take care of this one. So every time you try to not use one of the gaps around the grid, I'm talking about the extreme ones, I mean, I'm talking about all of these. It's really hard to recover them, and when you try to recover them after, you're still in trouble. You're in trouble because of what will happen after. Like, you are recoiling other stuff. I mean, okay, now you can see that I made a lot of like mistakes. That like this one can't work, this one can't work. You have a lot of stuff that doesn't work. And as I said, I know it's not a formal proof, but please follow me. Just please follow me for that. Probably I can. No, I can't even do that. So you have a lot of big problems trying to avoid every one of those things. And here with the problems, I still needed to reach this cell, and then I can't reach this one. That I will never recoil from above, so I must do that somewhere here, and then but this one to recoil here needs all of this to be already recoiled, or yeah, that like that. Okay, this one, sorry, that's really too much. You cannot do that. Let me just try to show you. Again, I'm doing that. Finally, I'm recoiling the cell here. Finally, I'm recoiling the cell now, but I'm at the end of the world here, and yeah, I can continue and do some stuff, because the point is that I must go up, down, left, and like I must turn in any one of those things, and still, like, I can't even do that, because if I do that, then this branch and this branch will be stopped, so I can't even do this thing. So this one must go down to allow something to go up, and when I do that, this is not taken now anymore. Even if I try to take everything here, so like it's really hard to do all of these and recoil if you are not recoiling at the right moment all of those outside things, outside the cells. I'm not saying that it's always impossible to recoil all of them, or at least one of them. I'm just saying that every time you try to do that, you are just shifting your problem to other sides and to other paths, okay? And this thing is one of the points that are very relevant. There is another problem here. That is about what's going on if you are not. Yeah. That's what Timothy said. Your path always has just enough local space to recoil closely. That it's very hard to recoil a far remote space. Yeah, because of the fact that it's always 4 cells. If it was three cells wide, then everything I'm saying would be wrong. But because you have the 4th, this means that every time you make a move, you have like one move up and one move down, one left and one right for each move, depending if you're going upwards or downwards, to left or to the right. And this whole thing means that you must be careful at recoiling at the right moment the things that are outside the grid. And be careful, I'm not talking about orientation. Why? Because in theory, what I'm showing you could happen in one direction or in another, because it doesn't really matter for what we have here. It doesn't really matter the order, the orientation of that. There is something else that's forcing the orientation of the puzzle. Because in theory, you could place the whole puzzle and shift it, and we have literally no problems doing that. But in fact, you have some problems. I'm gonna try to show you why there are problems and where they are. Also, there are now some little problems in the grid. The first problem is that you have a cell here that is well, not expected. Like if you follow the thing, this one shouldn't exist. Okay, shouldn't just exist. So please remember that this cell is an unicum. Another thing is this. Like if you look at that, you have a gap. In theory, here you should go down. I'm talking about the fact that I'm here, so I should go like this way, and then this way, and then this way, and then this way. Like, how can I? Yeah, like this way. You should do this. But you are not doing this because you have this gap, and then this one goes down again and changes the distance. So this means that this step is different than this step, that is different than this step, and so on and so on and so on. You have other stuff. This one is gonna be wild because you have some different directions of some kinds. And where was the other one? Wait, there is another one that is where it was, the other one, wait a second. Oh yeah, here. You have this gap that goes 2 times to the right and 1, okay? So why I'm talking about all of this? Getting inspired by Dama's explanation of how 46 recoils to peel my potatoes in a certain way. Yeah, I must tell, I'm sorry. I'm sorry because I know that it's not my most brilliant stream at this point. I know that it's a little bit boring. I'm here talking about theoretical stuff that is also not exactly formally proved, but that's the best I can do at the moment with this thing. Okay, so you have those strange things, okay? Please just remember that there are those strange things because we will need them. We will need all of those strange things around the grid. I mean, we will need to know that there are. I'm confused as fuck. Yeah. Now, though, let me just show you one thing. Please remember that we don't know the orientation of anything, okay? And please know and remember that we said that we must take every one of those branches. Now, let me go to Paint. Why I'm going to Paint.net? Because now I want to ask. I know that I'm starting here at this point. I'm starting here. Now that I know that I'm starting at this point of the grid, here, exactly here, my question is, where do I end? And this is a big question. Because imagine that you are ending, I don't know, here. That this is the end of the puzzle. Now, every time you are not ending near the start, you have a problem that is just graph theory. In terms of the fact that because you must take every one of those, remember when I put every one of those nodes and you need bridges to go through there. Yeah, like you have here you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 bridges. Here you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 bridges. Here you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 bridges. Here you have just 1 and 2, and this is just not a bridge; it's just connected. But yeah, you get the point, okay? If you try to exit your path here, this is gonna count an odd number of bridges that go to one of the sides. What I mean with that, I mean the fact that if you took this bridge here, you are clearly going through here, for example, and then, I don't know, probably out from here. And then at a certain point, I don't know, you are entering here and you are exiting here. So in this kind of puzzle, in this type of puzzle, the number of times you enter must be the number of times you exit for each one of the nodes. But this is a problem, because if you stop the path at any other direction than the starting one, in the starting node, and this is the starting node the problem, you can't complete your path because there is one of the branches, like for example this one in this case, that will not be taken, and this branch here must be taken somehow. But this means that the start is exactly the end. So I'm not saying that it's a loop, but it's like a loop. It's almost a loop. Hoping that everything I'm saying is clearly enough. Dama, this is your most brilliant stream ever. Okay, that's a bad signal for all my other streams, but okay, thank you. Every node has an even number of branches, so has 2 entries. Yes, exactly like that. There will be an entry and an exit, and then one more entry to finish off. Yes, yes. So this means, and this is the whole point of what I'm saying, that you must finish your puzzle in this node, that is the node in which you are starting, okay? Now, let's keep this information in mind, because we will need that in some minutes. In some minutes. And please remember that I'm not doing anything in the grid yet, okay? But this is just theory. When you understand enough theory for this puzzle, then the puzzle is done. It's literally done. Now, we said that we can't avoid an entire branch. And we said that we must be as efficient as we can to recoil the closest gaps as soon as we can, because if we don't do that, at a certain point, we will just get too many holes that we can't close. Now, this doesn't mean that we will not have holes around the grid. Some of them will happen, just because there are some things that are not working as intended, like this cell, like what's happening here, like what's happening here, like this, like this, and similar stuff, okay? So there are some gaps that are strange. But yeah, like this one is another of those things, this one, and stuff like that, okay? But more or less, we are trying to use the most efficient path in each one of those sides, of those branches, of those directions, okay? And not only that, we know that if we are starting like here, we can't ever close. Like, you see that? We can't do that. Because if we try to do that, we are just closing one of the paths. So every time we make one move, we must make it in a way that doesn't close all the other directions, because again, for every node, you need an amount of directions that is equal to the amount of branches that start from that node. And this happens for this node here, but this happens also for this node here. And this thing is very relevant, because this means that in no way, in no time, and in no word, you are ever closing one of the paths. Like, you do that, this is just wrong because of this. And you can do that. And you can do that in the entire grid. And every time you try to not do that, it means that you must be as efficient as you can in each little part of the path. What does this mean? This means that you can't take your paths like all here at one of the sides, as I'm trying to show, like this way. Because again, you are leaving stuff. This doesn't mean you can't touch the borders at one side or the other. I'm just saying, and this is the least formal thing I will say today, that you can't do that too much. What does this mean? This means that okay, like I know that here I'm using that, but I mean you can avoid to close the entire thing here. Like you do this, and you can still avoid. But my point, and this is the hard thing that I'm trying to say, is that you cannot take too much things outside. I even have this problem here. That's just not working because I have this problem caused by those two moves, as you can see. Like this is just enough things to be worried about if you think at that, because you have these, and then you're just trying to close everything. But yeah, like you're still getting some problems, because every time you try to connect to one of the borders, inside or outside, for every one of those branches, to correct your path, you are applying stuff to other paths, as you can see here, to other part of the path here, for example, and also you are getting a lot of non-used stuff, okay? But all of those are locally connected, because now every time you want to go through here, for example, you must take into consideration the fact that every movement you are doing that is not exactly inside the branch is affecting the other branches, okay? But when you can affect the other branches, when you have stuff that goes out, like in the axis that I was showing, like there, like in all of those things, you can avoid the perfect path. In the others, you just can't. Even if, like here, you have another problem. Here, you don't have 4, you have 3, so this is even more strict. But in all the others, even more narrow. So sorry, I don't know why I say strict, but it's in Italian. The word is stretto, so I said yeah. Sorry, but like here you are just enough there. Here you're not only just enough, you're like even more narrow there. So every time you try to go out, you must go out of the comfort zone of being in the middle of those paths in a number of times that is not too much. And why I'm saying it's the least formal thing that I'm saying, because the least number of times as you can. I'm not saying 3 times, 5 times, 6 times. I'm just saying as little as no, not as little. The word is as less time as you can. As less time as you can. You should just speak Italian. Yeah, I should. I absolutely should speak Italian. These streams would take a lot less. A lot less. But all of this means that I'm gonna go, like, just showing you. I'm gonna go use the middle part as much as I can. As much as I can. It's not saying every time. And it's not saying that I can't touch the borders. I'm saying that I must touch the borders a number of times that is enough to not create too much problems, and at the same time to complete the recoils inside the little area. All of these things together mean already a lot about the understanding of the puzzle, but still we have no idea of how the path is going, because you have a lot of different branches here, okay? If you have a look, all I said is just a general understanding of what's going on, but not exactly where the path goes, okay? So we must go a little further. And please, if someone has something to ask, please do. Because we just closed one of the biggest problems. Like, we understood how the path grows inside the branches, and we know that we must end in the same place, and we must take every one of those branches. But we know just that at the moment. I take like a 5 seconds of wait, and then we'll see. Also, give me a second. Okay, sorry. Sorry for the waiting. And I see that I have no real questions in chat. But Bess, 8 more chocolate now. If that amount of chocolate was not enough, 8 more chocolate. Okay, so Timotab is making a summary. Okay, nice. There are too many cells in a hedge for wide strips between crossing to avoid one altogether. Yes, we can't recoil into them enough. Graph theory tells us we must essentially end the path at the same node as we start. Yeah, it's too hard to recoil distant cells because there is enough on each edge to recoil locally. So we must use all cells well possible along each edge. We require staking the central line. Yes. Yep. Yep, that's a nice summary. That's absolutely a nice summary. And this means that it's time to talk about orientation. Not kidding. Yeah, I know that this feels that I'm kidding, but now that we know this, now we must take another step aside and talk about orientation in a graph. And we already said that we can't do this. We can't just cross, okay? Now I will connect from the start just to visualize better what's going on in the puzzle. But let's need more chocolate. Yeah, absolutely. Hey pose. Hey pose. Okay. I'm sharing with you one thing. that I think will just explain a lot of stuff. I'm going down here. It doesn't really matter what I'm doing, okay? I'm just not trying to be good. I'm just trying to reach this part of the puzzle as soon as I can. The part to the right, okay? Now that I'm reaching the part to the right, remember that I'm entering this part of the puzzle in this direction. Like if you have a look at this, this means that I'm reaching this side this way, okay? Now, if you're reaching this side this way, because you must enter and exit, because you must end here, this means that you must go this way and this way, right? Now, this means that, like, imagine that I want to take, even if I can't, for the reasons we already said, like, really try to take as what's the word? What's the word in English? As less cells as possible here. Like I'm talking about the opposite of as much as possible. There is a way to say that, right? Is that as little as possible? As little as possible. Okay, as little as possible. Okay, nice. Thank you. Good. Most efficient. Yeah. Yes. Okay. I'm trying. That. Yeah, but it's not the. No, it's not the most efficient. I'm not saying that I must use the lowest amount of cells. I'm the smallest amount of cells. I'm saying that I want to leave less space between to allow more recoils down. Let me explain why I'm saying that. I'm saying that as few as possible. Oh, that's good. Okay, as few as possible. Yeah, as little as possible, as few as possible. Nice. Okay. Why? Because give me just a second. If here I can't use this because this thing has no recoil to the right. Okay. This means that the maximum amount of cells I can get up is exactly this position that we are getting here. I can't go upper than this. And now this means that I go up here, and then I break the puzzle. For the first time, we are breaking the puzzle. And it's a cool thing that we are breaking the puzzle here. It's a cool thing because this means that we can't go in this direction. Let me try to explain why this breaks, because now I can't go up. If I try to go up, I take this cell. If I try to go up again, I have nothing to recoil. If I try to go to the left, I have nothing to recoil this way. And if I try to go here and then here, then this thing works just enough to go outside. This is just enough to go outside. But then you have nothing to recoil from here. Like, literally, you have nothing to recoil from here. And also, you break this. All of this means that if you want to try and be a little bit more consistent, and so you do that to force everything as much as you can here, and do that, as you can see, I'm taking as much as I can. Now I can't go straight, so I must go up, and then I break everything again. I break just everything again. If I try to not take this path to avoid that, I can't even go up anymore. Because again, the fact that here I was not high enough means that I can't take this route. To take this route, I must take the other route. like the other route for this. So this means that I must go in the other direction this way. But again, when I do that, I'm using a lot of the path that I can't use. I can do that. I can do that. Must go up this way now. I try to go this way, and now I can go up here, but now I have too much stuff here that can't ever be recoiled. And not only this one can't ever be recoiled, but this one can't ever be recoiled now. How the hell do you even recoil the cell? At a certain point, you must take this area or this area to recoil one of the borders. Like this one will be recoiled here or here. You can't recoil otherwise. All of this means, and I know that's much to say, but all of this means that we know that our path does this. Any questions? Now you can tell a lot, but tell me if you have any questions. So, to get around, yeah, there is Timotab making the summaries. To get around the obstacle and the end of that possible edge, you need to take the center line, but that leaves too many empty cells you can't recoil into, and still doesn't solve the problem. The obstacle cannot be at the end of that edge, but the start of that edge. Yes. Yeah, this whole thing means that from a certain perspective, you must do this. Going in this direction, I mean. And we have the start of the puzzle. Not kidding, okay? But from now, we have only like other 10 hard steps, and then the puzzle falls. Next step. I'm gonna go up here. I'm talking about now this part. And to explain what's going on in this part of the puzzle, I must tell you something. Something relevant, I think. First of all, let me just share with you the fact that this thing happened because we had this square. Now, opposite, we have another square. For reasons that I think you can easily understand, things will be very similar. Like, very similar here. It's a bit harder to disprove, but they are very similar. Okay? Now, let me just try to share the point of this. What I'm trying to say is that it's not possible for this to be like that, to go this way. This is the most beautiful arrow I have ever made. So you can do that. You can't do that. And now, the reason why you can't do that is not the same of what's going on to the right. Or, I mean, it's similar, but it's not exactly the same, because there is a difference. The difference is that here you have this problem, for example, that must be recoiled here and here. But here, this cell, even if it's not recoiled here, could be recoiled here. Because you are not going up here. So there is this gap here. There is not another cell, another island here, another block of cells here that doesn't force this to be, because I mean, what's the problem for this one that it can't be recoiled after? Because after there exists this one, of course, and so you're like you have those in the middle, and so this one at the end must be part of this or this. It can't be part of one of the others. Okay, so it's a matter of how many of those things you have connecting from each other. And now that's a problem here. The fact is that you have nothing up here. So even if it's a good thing for this, it's not a good thing in terms of vertical movements. I'm trying to show you why. Let me show you this thing. I have this thing. Okay, let me explain. I'm doing that to avoid as many moves to the right as, or to the left as possible. Okay, so going upwards, I'm like not creating problems to the left to show what's going on, because it's easier to see that way. So I want to go down. So my plan is to go here and then somehow go down this way. Okay, so that's my plan at the moment. To do that, my best idea is to leave as many of those cells as I can. And to do that, if I use the middle, I will use every one of those cells. And if I use the lowest one, I will take stuff from the down, and I can't do that. Okay, so to take as little cells as I can here, I must go up and use the cells that I have to the right. Even if we already said that this just breaks, okay? But follow me. But just follow me. I want to do this. I'll explain why in a second. I'm not reaching this, of course. And this is why I wanted to avoid the stuff, because I'm trying to leave all of these open. You will understand why in a second. I must use this one because I must turn. Or I can even do that if you want to. But at a certain point, you must do this move, okay? So it doesn't really matter. And now, to avoid the stuff, you can do that. I think you can see what I'm trying to do, okay? I think you can see what I'm trying to do. Here. Okay, I go here and then here. Okay, nice. I'm here. I'm literally trying to use as less cells possible in these. That's my plan at the moment. Now, see what happens if I try to go down again. I'm done. Yes, I'm trying to consume as few cells as possible within the edge. Yeah, exactly. Exactly that, because I want to go down. The problem is that this thing in this edge doesn't work. I try to do that. Check. I have other problems, okay, but still with problems, I can't do this. So I can't just continue this way. So you can say, well, but who cares? Like you can go the other way around, right? And that's true. That's absolutely true. I can, in theory, do that and try to go this way, and then maybe this way, and then try to use those things, or try to go in the middle here and do that. That's absolutely a good idea, right? You could do that. Now, how do I avoid this cell though? That's a real question. That's a big question. How can I avoid this cell? This cell is made by... It's not that move. This move is made by one of those things going up, so I must do that probably. Yeah. To avoid that thing. Let me click on check. Remember that I'm trying to use as less of those things as possible. As I tried to do here, it was the same problem again. I was trying to use as less of those as possible. And still, I was creating problems in other parts of the grid. Here I'm using a lot of stuff here. So like I have only one way here around that could work in theory, but it's very hard. And still, I just can't. Not only I just can't, but I know that I must stand here. And how am I even recoiling all of those things together? Like you can say, okay, but you must use all the things that you are not recoiling. Oh, come on. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. It doesn't shake the problems because you have this, but yeah. Okay. Now it does. So to avoid all of those problems, you must do some stuff here. And every time you try to do some stuff here, like every time you try to go to the middle, you break because you can't go to the middle in the middle of a 4 stripes thing. So you must continue this way, but when you must continue this way and you try, you just can't reach these. So to reach these, you must do that. But to do that, you are not enough. You have not enough space because you try to do that thing, okay, and that's fine. But then every one of those moves can't be done from above unless you still continue to do that and you try again to do this thing, and now you're forcing these, and now you have problem down again because you have nothing up. So here, how am I working? I'm trying to correct one problem and see what happens to the rest, but when I correct one of the problems, I have another problem that comes into mind, and this has a problem now because now I tried to be as close as I could, because when I was not as close as I can, those things were free to allow for those moves going down. But when I can't go down because now those are connected this way and so those things are used, then these things have nothing to recoil and they must recoil from above. But above, I have nothing. Like I can't do the thing I was doing here to recoil from other sides of the grid. And this thing is what I was saying when I said that you can't exactly avoid to go through the middle path because every time you try to go to the middle path, you are just creating problems to the other sides every time. Because now this thing would just create problem every time I go here, because now I have one space left, and that one would continue, and then. So yeah. And even consuming as few cells as possible, fully leaving enough to recoil the cells needed to get around the obstacle, you still don't have enough to get around it, and you still have empty cells. Shifting other parts of the center line just causes more recoil problems, so you must take the center path, but then it's even harder to get around the obstacle. Yeah, not only it's even harder, you just can't, because when you go through the middle, now you have only one recoil, and you can't go through there, and you can't go through the other side because you don't have enough in this direction. So, like, sorry, I had the thing. Okay, but yeah, if you try to do that, that's the problem. You try to go from the middle here. You are just still creating problems to yourself because now you can't continue this way and you can't go down. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Like you can't go in this direction in this point in this part of the puzzle. So, in other words, all of this means that here I must go this way. And well, that's something. And that's something already. That's not enough, but that's something. Now we have two of the two of the directions of this thing, and yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a bit slow because it's hard to explain everything here. Okay. 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 Sorry, I was looking at my. I was looking at my notes for this. Okay, time to erase everything again now. Yeah, not kidding, but I literally have to move everything again for the last time. Yeah. Yes, yes, Timotab, you are absolutely right. Like we have the same problem again. Like the same problem happens when you look at this. It's that you can't connect in the direction in which this is nearer. Okay, every time. But as you can see, this happens many times. So like you must enter in the direction of the nearest thing. So like in this direction you must go this way, and in this direction you must go this way now. And the same applies at the two other things. So in this direction you must go down this way. It's like the same. It's literally the same. You can try. You can try, and but it's literally the same every time. And that is more important. Here you must somehow go this way. Okay. So we have those four things that are somehow giving us directions. Why I'm saying that? Because this is saying that I must go this way and this way, for example. And this is saying that I must go this way, and so this way and this way, somehow. Now we are at the big real question. Of course, I mean, we can continue. We can continue with this because it's harder to show. It's harder to show that, but it's still true that you must wait a second. That you must go. Yeah, it's like the same applies for these, but I mean this is kind of the same thing, but it's not exactly the same. So I'm not using that right now because it's not completing the square, but it's happening something similar here and here. And you can use that because at the same in the same way you must go through there and through the other side, but it's not exactly the same logic, so I'm not exactly doing that right now. But it happens, and you can force also that to these and these as well. Yeah, I'm not exactly using that, but the same applies here, for example. But yeah, you have this anyway. Ciao Calogero. And then where am I? Wait a second, where am I just forgot. Oh yeah, okay, I know where I am. Okay. And now the question is, where do I start? It's not a simple question now. I'm asking, can I go down here And this is one of the hardest steps, probably, of the puzzle, the entire puzzle. So, like, have a look at this, okay? And tell me, if I do this, what happens? Someone has an idea? Any ideas? The fact that I have two enterings here means that I must exit, and I can't cross. So this means that this one must go this way now, and the other one must go this way now. I think this is just easy to see, right? But now, here, I have two exits already, and I have only one entering. So this means that I must finish here. So I'm doing a terrible thing that is connecting this way. I think you see, right? So the puzzle must end here, this way. This is the only way when I'm allowed to not cross, okay? Because, I mean, I can finish up here, so I can do that. But when I do that now, because this one is the end, I can't just end here, so I must continue. And when I continue this way now, if I, well, this one goes this way now, first of all. And I cannot, like, I know that it's a bit confusing, but I'm trying to connect those as much as I can. From this point, what do I want to do? What do I want to say? And because it's an art question, it's really an art question. Not kidding, it's an art question. This one. Why I'm saying it's an art question? Because one can say, okay, here I'm going this way, but it's not that easy. In theory, I could go down from here and then go up and do this, for example. Like in theory, I could do that, okay? I'm not sure that it doesn't happen, okay? And so this one connects here, and now those connect this way, so this connects this way now, and now I cannot really cross, so I must go up here and do that, or I just go down and then this one goes the other way around. As you can see, there are options, okay? There is a problem because every move I make here creates other possible paths here, okay? And so there is no way to understand where the puzzle is going unless you find out something. That is the moment in which I'm trying to talk about the rest and the hardest part of the puzzle. I had to talk with setter number 46 after my solve to be convinced of what I said, because this was the part in which I was a bit more confused about, and they confirmed that my theory was correct, that my understanding was correct. And so I'm showing that in the same abstract way I was saying. What I want to show you is this. Welcome to another little piece of insane stuff. What's going on here? I'm trying to be as efficient as I can, but it's hard, okay? Really, I'm sorry, but it's hard. I'm not trying to hype. I'm trying to use the best way to show stuff that is not exactly easy to to say. Let me try to share with you the problem. I want to connect stuff, and I have only 2 ways to connect. But in those things that are like rectangles, the same way you connect in one direction is the same way you connect in the other direction. It's hard to explain, but if you look at this rectangle, you have the same things, as you can clearly see. It's exactly the same things outside. The same happens here. You have 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 4. No, sorry, 2, 4, 2, 4, and you have this stuff in those. Okay. Here you have just one difference, and this is this cell, just this cell. Okay. The problem is this. If you look at, give me just 1 second to show that. If you look at this direction of the blocks and of the paths, you have a specific orientation for those things, considering the way the shape is done. What do I mean? Hi, yes, yeah, showed up and no thank you. Yeah, I guess I understand why. But the problem is that you must follow the orientation of the grid in terms of the fact that here you are going this way, okay, and you know that you are going this way here. It's like forced to go this way here, and because you have this space here, if you try to go this way and this way here, but in the other one you want to go this way and this way, so you are just shifting those 2 things, not going in the same direction, in the same ways, you could run into problems, because now every time you make a move in one of the directions, you are still creating a wave that propagates into the other sides, into the other sides of the connectivity path. Okay, what I mean with that is that not only you must be consistent with the orientation of your grid, but also you must be like consistent with the way you are going through, because of the fact that every time you make a move, that move propagates, and it's the same thing that we were talking about earlier. Like, you are always propagating with this kind of stuff, okay? This summed with the fact that those rectangles are different, and that are different, but what you have outside them is always the same, pretty much the same, at least. In all of this is the same. Means that every time you create one possible path, like imagine that here you're going, I don't know, like imagine that you're going this way now, and you're saying that you take those 2 cells, and then you go straight, and then straight again, and then you go here. Then at the same time, you're expected to do the same thing at the other side. Because every step you take in one direction, you must take in the other direction in all of those boxes. Because those are just connecting in the same ways. And not only that, but you can't do that. You must do that in that sense. Sorry, that, for example. Because every time you make a move, for example, here or here, you can't, for time, go to the other side. You have problems with recoil here, because one of those happens before the other one. So you have this space, and you must divide that space into 2 things. Remember that we said that we are always using local stuff to recoil. So even if we can leave some sporadic cells around the grid. We are using every time the things that are near to recoil stuff that is there. And so every time you do that, you must create like some sort of mirroring of symmetry. And this happens in every one of those rectangles, okay? But now, because that happens in every one of those rectangles, it means that you could have big problems. So if you go horizontally through a node, one path goes left, the other path goes right. If you go vertically, one path goes up, the other goes down. Yes, exactly. Apart for this one. Apart for this one. Because this one has the difference that is this cell. In other words, here you have a particularity that creates the possibility for you, and also this one, I mean, those two things, that allow, sorry, also this one is the symmetry. You have this one that even if you think that the rectangle is little considering the others, it's exactly not that way, because the path is smaller, so you must take less space, but at the same time you have more recoils there, and so you are allowed to go in different directions because you have enough recoils to do so. So you don't know if there happens that or not. But in all the others, if you're going in one direction, the other goes in the same direction, but symmetrical. And the same applies every time. And not only that, but that direction is following the direction of the grid itself. So if for example, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna erase some stuff here. If, for example, I'm going this way here, and then I want to go like above here, and I want to do the same to the other side, so I want to do this. Clearly, this one goes this way, so this one must go the other way around. So you must end here in that word, for example. Because you can't exactly you can't recoil in the same direction two times. So you're going one time and the other one goes the other way around. You go here, the other one goes up, and stuff like that, okay? So this is always like that. So you must avoid every time you're trying to use this kind of stuff, for example. That is another really important thing that you can say about the direction of what you're saying, okay? And so, because now we know some of the directions, now I'm telling you that if I try to go this way, because I know that I'm going this way as well, and I know that I can't intersect it, so this one must go this way. And so for the reasons that we already said, because we know that this one goes this way now, those must connect this way. So they are just connecting here. And this one touches here, and this one goes down through here. Sorry, let me use the orange for this. I'm trying to recreate what I had, okay? This goes this way now. Now that I'm here, I have some information. I've really big informations about this now. Oh, don't worry, Bookworm. Hi. It's 1 hour and 20 minutes, and I'm explaining stuff, or at least trying to explain stuff. What I'm saying here is that I know that this one goes up here this way. I'm going here that way, and that's fine for the reasons I said. This one goes this way, the other one goes the other way around. So now I know that this one connects here. And as you can see, we have a problem. I think you can see the problem here, right? For the reasons I said. I was not trying to put that in one of the rectangles because I was trying to say all of that like in general, but I think you can see the problem here. It's just there. You cannot, and there is no way that you have two lines this way connecting with this going here and this going here. There is no way. There's just no way to do so. Can absolutely not see it. Yeah. I think you cannot see the problem, but I think Timutab is seeing the problem, for example. The fact, Bookfilm, is that in any one of those, you can't have recoils going in the same direction. Because this would create too many recoils in one of the branches, but we said already that you must take every one of the branches, and you can't avoid one of them not destroying the rectangle, because the rectangle needs stuff that is symmetrical around there. Yeah, absolutely. I think personally that it's both, because why I'm saying it's a graph theory problem, because of the fact that it's for graph theory that you must like connect this one to the left and this one to the right. But the problem itself about the recoil is, yeah. So far it's been surprisingly approachable. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely agree. So it's time to erase the answer again and try to figure out what we had until now. Because now we know. First of all, we know that this is gonna go this way. We know that this is gonna go this way. And we know that we can't go this way here. So we must go this way. Okay? Now that we have, we also know that we have these, and we know that we have these. This is, I think, all that we know at the moment. I think so, yeah. And still, I agree with you. It's not as hard as 15. And I agree. Even if this one is a lot more theoretical. Like, number 15 was pure recoil logic. Here, you are doing recoil here, but it's not like you are making every step, okay? It's more like global intuition and understanding of what's going on in each branch. Or, I mean, in the whole puzzle. That's even better, but yeah, you see. Anyway, now my question is, can I do, like, I'm talking about this node now. What happens in this node? In other words, can I just go down this way from above? Like, can I do that? And the answer is clearly not, right? Because you need one of the starts here, and the start is down. There is no way you are not using one of those branches to go down, because even if you, in theory, could go 2 times up or 3 times up, like, yeah, like there is no way for this to cross. You are just not allowed to go to down here, and if you don't want to go down here and you want to go straight, this one breaks, because this one has no start from this, and it could be the end, but it's not the end, because we know that we are going in this direction, not in the other. So in other words, this connects here. This just connects here. Okay, and again, I think that you can clearly follow this part, right? Now the question is, and I think personally that, oh, what? Okay. Okay, that was unexpected. That was really unexpected. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, now Timo says, now the start has to go southeast. So I'm asking you, how do I know that the start can't go up somehow? In other words, is there a way for this to go up here? And the answer is no, it can't. But we must, say that it's not possible. We must prove that it's not possible. To prove that it's not possible, we are saying that now the start must go down this way, clearly, and so this one goes up this way. Now I think this is all pretty much easy to see, but this means that we must end here, so we must end this way. And now, for the reasons we said, this one can't cross, those can't connect. This is a shorter loop, so this connects up and this connects down, so it goes this way now. And now, because you are here, clearly you can't just like from this ending, from this arrow, you can't go straight. So you must connect down this way. So this one must go this way now in this direction. And at this point, if you look at this one goes this way, looking here. This one goes this way, looking here. Now you have this problem here. So this one must go to the left, and now this one must go here. Now this one connects here, here, and up. This one goes down. This one goes this way now. Wait, this one goes this way now. This one goes this way now. And we have two things going down in this thing. And that's, again, broken. Oh, no, never mind. Also here, but here, yeah, okay. As I said, here it's not that clear that it breaks for recoil, because you have other places. So it's here that breaks. Yeah, it's here that breaks. It would cause the end to go west through the intersection where we have already gone west. Oh, that's easier. Okay, I didn't see that. Oh, never mind. I didn't see that. That's a lot easier. Yeah, Timothab, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely true. Yeah, you're right. Yep, that's correct. I didn't see that. I went like all through there, but yeah, you're right. So this whole thing means that you must go here and up here. And well, from this direction, we literally have to understand how it ends, like how it ends. And we are at I don't know, like the penultimate difficult part of the puzzle, probably. I think so. Why I'm saying that? Because now there are two ways the entire path could go. And it's not that easy to disprove one of them. It's absolutely not that easy, because both work. I'm just gonna show you both of them. One of them is this, goes this way, and then this connects just here, and then from above you go here, you go here, you go here, you go here, and then from this part of the grid you go down, you go here, you go up, you go to the right, up, here, go, and then down. And this is one option. And this pretty much works. You have everything in the rectangles that work very well, honestly. Nothing really strange. This part seems to work. The other path is this one instead. You go here, and then you go down, you go here, you go here, you go here, you go creating this 8, you go here, and then this connects here, and then this ends. and both work. Like literally for everything that we said, both work. So we must understand the last piece of logic to disprove one of them. And yeah, wait a second. I was looking at my things to see exactly how I did everything there at that point, because it's one of the latest things. Yeah. Okay. I'm here. Sorry. It needs some time. This entire solve. Okay. So we know all of these. Okay. We know all of these, and we still know this one. Now the two paths that work, because there are only two paths that work. Okay. They are the two that I was showing you, have something in common. Okay. So the something that they have in common is this part, is this entire part here. Like both take the same here. This entire part is the same as well. In this direction. Then you have this one that is always the same, that is the end. And we also have this one that is the same. And of course, this one that is the same. So, like we have all the outside, and the only things that we don't exactly know are if these things, if this one connects down or up, and if this one connects down or up, and the same, like the wall of the puzzle, the rest of the puzzle just connects that way. So all of these is always the same thing. It's always like that, okay? And this means that we can, like, not exactly start, but almost start looking at those two options and see what happens. I'm not saying just try one of them and see one of them works and the other doesn't, okay? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that seeing something will help us understand what the next step wants from us. And I have an abstract proof of the one of those two that works, that is really wild, and you could not accept that. I accept that, and I sent that to the setter, and it seems that I was right, because it's a parity thing. But you will see. Let me just try to connect those types of things, those pieces, those pieces of logic here. So I can like start. Like I think I can clearly do something like this in this direction, for example. And now, because I know that I'm going in this direction, now to take this cell, I will always do this. That is a thing that you saw me doing a lot of times, I think, in this solve. But the whole point is that if you reach one of them and you want to go this way, you took that, and then you go up to take this cell. So the two cells that are outside are taken, and then you go here, and that way you take the entire thing. Okay, so this is all the things that we always want to do with this type of stuff. So we are doing that, and we are taking this cell by this move, and now we go up this way. We know how those are connected, so we know that we are doing that. We are connecting through the hole, and we are continuing up. We are continuing up. We are continuing up. This is pretty much using the informations that we understood about the puzzle in the last 1 hour and a half, at least, and we are here. I can just connect here at the moment, because I don't know if I can do better than that at the moment. I know that I can go here, because I must take the path in the middle here. And I don't know how am I connecting here, but I'm clearly connecting here, so there are not many ways, I think, to do so. I mean, I must do that to continue that way, but I probably have to change something. I will do that later, but at least I can do that. At least I can do that, and it's pretty forced that this is clearly fine, at least. Also, I know that in this direction I must go through, like through here. And so I can connect through this side. I don't know, I can't make this move, so I must turn 2 times, the error that I had in mind earlier. We already talked about this. I think we had this argument in town. We are doing that. From here, we are doing all of these. Sorry, not this, but we are taking this one to take everything here. Sorry, it's taking a while, but I know that this is one of the least interesting parts of this, but I mean, here I have the problem that we were talking about earlier, so the fact that I must be exactly symmetrical about that. And to be exactly symmetrical, I must do that. I must leave these and these and then these. So I must do these. And now here I went down 2, so I must go up 2. And now I can connect here. Probably now I can go around here, so I must go around here, for example, or not. We are talking about that in a second. Here I can't still go through here because that would take a lot, but still I will talk about that in a second again. What else do I have here? This is done. Yeah, I must go through there. And I can't do more than that. Then I have this going down. This was going down, so I must go from here, I think. And then go down this way now. Yeah. And then I must go through here. And then here I must go up this way or down this way. I don't know yet. Here, I don't know if I'm going up or down, but this is the strangest one, as you can see. I don't know where am I connecting to, because I'm reaching stuff that I wanted to not reach, but yeah, this is the case here. And then here I must go through these. And then, of course, I must go out. The same applies here. I know everything about this now. And I know that I'm reaching these. I must do that to connect the rest. We already discussed that we always do this type of stuff. Here it's time to do the same trick with the square. I don't prove that for each square, but it's still the same thing again and again and again. So I must go this way now, and now I reach this. At this point, I have only one way to get out from here, and I know the orientation of this getting out, so I must do that. It's pretty much forced that I do this thing, and now I must stay in the middle, so I must do that. And then this one connects the other way around, so, sorry, I must do this. And now this goes this way now. And as you can see, we have this node, and then this node and this node that we don't know. So the other nodes, we know what happens to the other nodes, so we can continue to the middle here. This is the strangest one, but it doesn't really matter. We are still doing that this way to reach the opposites, or the oppositions, I mean. And so this goes this way, and now symmetrical, I must go the other way around. We already talked about symmetry here. And we have almost the whole puzzle done here. Am I still online? I think so. I hope so. After all of this. Yeah, I think I am. I think I should be. Yes, still online. Nice, 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 nice. Okay, good. And, well, and we're here. Now this one just connects this way now. And what I said about symmetry must go this way. And then I must go up. And this one goes here. But now, and this is one that is the most simple way to see stuff here. That is what our setter wanted us to see stuff. That symmetry, that parity thing, means that from this side you must go through here to go through here. And so those connect exactly this way and not the other way around. And when you know that those go this way, well, at this point, you know what's happening, because now this one connects here, so this one connects up. And now because this connects this way, now you have one of the coolest things that you can see. That is the fact that now, if this connects up, you have how can I share it with you? But you have two different loops, because the one outside is just a loop on its own. And it is it's fascinating and terrible, honestly, at the same time. But yeah, it's true. So you have another loop up there. So this one can't connect up, and because this one can't connect up, this one just connects here to end. And because this is true now, well, this means that we are still in the middle of this, but now you can't enter here, because if you try to enter here, now this one must go here, and you go here, or the other way around. I mean, again, we have two other options here, okay? We have still two other options that we can take, because this one, we just have like a problem in the middle now, because both are working, I guess. Right? Yeah. Yeah, probably both work. Yeah, both work. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, sorry. Yes, both work, yeah. Never mind. But I know that those now connects. So this connects here, and this connects opposite, in the opposite direction here. And now, what is the other one? Oh yeah, this one. We already said that. So we are just connecting the middle now, because we have almost all the puzzle done at this point. And so the node on the right is forced, that removes some options that would close two distinct loops. Exactly like that. And that's yeah, that's fascinating, honestly. That's honestly fascinating, but at the same time is very interesting. And now we have that last step that I'm trying to remember. that I'm trying to remember, sorry. Because it's just a matter of how it ends now. Okay, I remember nothing about this step at this very moment. I have a little brain fart, honestly. Wait a second. Oh yeah, I have... this goes this way here. This goes... here, I can connect here. That's true. Okay, sorry, I just forgot this step now. I used something here, but at the moment I just forgot how to... Oh, yeah, sorry. Sorry, I just forgot that this part is done. Sure. So those are already connecting as well. So this one and this one connect as well. If I remember correctly, it should be like that. Or I think, yeah, it's similar because it's like the same of these. You're using the same approach of what you have here at the left. Yes. So yeah, it's just a matter of how this connects. In long story short, but I remember nothing on how those how this is decided. Because then the things that like the outside things and the stuff that you have as extra, you will see that are needed to resolve the last part of the puzzle. But okay, I remember nothing here at the moment. Like, not kidding. If you have any ideas, just tell. But we might just connect this rectangle here and this rectangle here. Oh, is that a matter of... oh, is that a matter of recoil? You can do that. Oh, yes, okay, I remember now. Yeah, I remember now. Those two can't connect, because to connect these, you must make too many moves and you have nothing up here to recoil as an extra. So you can't do that. I mean, every time you make a double move of some kind, like here, for example, you have stuff that allows you to do that, like every time. Here you just use those two things. Here you use the two steps and similar. But here you're using the stuff to do this move, but you have nothing to go down twice or up twice without creating too many problems around the grid. So you don't have extra spaces that you're using. This one is used for these. This one was used by these, and so on and so on and so on. So you from this point, because you are just going like stairs, of course you can't return, and now you can't do that. And if you try to go there and do that, this is working, but then this one is broken, because this space, as I said, is a lot more little than the other one. So because you must create like the symmetry inside the things, you are doing that. And yes, I can, of course. This is gonna go this way now, and this is gonna go this way. Oh yes, and now it's done, because if you now connect this way, if you now try to sorry, if you try to connect this way, now this is just a single loop that that goes around, and you can't do that. So this means that this one is just going up this way now, and the other one is just going down this way. And yeah, and this is almost done. And I'm saying almost because, as you can see, we are using a lot of those steps. Like a lot of those steps going in these directions. Yeah, like what I was trying to say is that, as you can see, this move takes that, and so the other move now takes this cell. So the moves that are inside, like the cells that are inside, are used to make those extra moves, but in that specific direction, you couldn't have this one going two times down, because you take this one, and then this one has nothing to recoil above. So you don't have extra to tell. And now from this point, you must do this, because you must recoil this cell, and so you must do that. And from this position, we just have to like understand how to finish this. Because as you can see now, we have almost everything in the grid done, but we have problems, and the problems that we have are in some specific horizontal and vertical moves. Now, the best thing, the best way, at least in my opinion, to do that is I'm erasing everything that is not needed, and then something is not looking wrong. This is just what you do, just understanding the orientation of the loop. Okay, so you know what's going on. But from this direction now, you must fix, because there are some things that are just not exactly in the right shape. So those things are just switching one of the directions, because what I said earlier is that we proved that we must take almost always the no, not exactly the bookworm. Why I'm saying that the theorems are correct, because all the things that I was saying are about the fact that you must take enough central cells to go to take to leave as little as possible, as few as possible cells not recoiled around the grid, because every time you take some of them, you're just propagating that problem, that error around the grid. And so if you try to take like one of the shortest paths or the longest paths, you are creating an entire row of problems around a row, like grid row. So it's diagonal row that is just switching your problem down, and at a certain point it's too much, that problem, that error. And that's why these theorems work only because the grid is too big, and you have a 4 cells pathway for all of those. If this was a 3 cells arrow, a 3 cells pathway, or if the grid was a lot shorter, then you shouldn't have that, and those theorems would not apply. But in this specific case, you have some places in which things are a bit off, and that bit that is off is not off enough to justify a change of direction or an entire branch that is not occupied. So you must take all of the branches, and you must take all of the central paths almost always. So that's pretty much it. And no, I said that it uses that almost every time, and to find out where I don't want to use that, I'm using it always, and now I'm seeing where I must correct a little bit things to avoid the problems. I'll share it in a second with you. If now I click on check, the errors that it's giving to me are here. because I have this thing that is just, as you can see, it's going upwards, and I mean, I can do that, for example, to avoid that problem. Just move down in this direction instead of doing that here. And the other check, it creates a problem down here. A problem down here. Yes, 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 yes. Should be this move, right? Should be this move that creates the problem. Yeah. Yeah. I have those two cells. This cell means that I can take into account one more horizontal move here to force this one to not go upwards and free a cell for this move that is the one that is not forced here. So I could do that. And when I do that, this one now is just creating the cell that I need. Now, for the same reason, now I must go symmetrical for the things that we already said. So I must go this way now. And I think now it's pretty much done, because now we can go down this way, and the puzzle is complete. Yeah. Yeah. When you solved this on your own, did you prove properly that these differences were too small to account for direction changes? Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. I didn't prove that for each of the branches, but as I said and did in this stream, I showed that every time you take, I did that in this branch, and I did that in, I don't remember, probably this one or this one, in one of those two branches, that every time you use an entire row too high or too low, you are creating problems to just finish connecting the rest, because if you try to be as much efficient as you can, avoiding that, and so forcing to recoil in one of the other rows or columns of the grid, you are creating problems in that one. So I showed that here. I didn't prove that for the entire grid, but the grid is so consistent that the little amount of difference is not enough. And I'm saying that because we already saw that when you have one cell that is not recoiled, like here, to recoil that cell, everything that you try to make and to do around the grid like leaves other recoils around the same row, or the row above or the row below, that not other recoils, other empty cells, sorry, that are just not recoiled yet. And so every time you have an error, that error propagates, and we showed that. The error propagates. So the point in my solve was not that you must take every step in that way to make it as much efficient as you can. I said that there is a little number of cells that are not counting for that, because they are like errors, like this cell that we have here, and those errors account for some little differences around the orientation of everything. But those little differences that are very low. It's 1, 2, 3, and then like 4, 5, as we can see. that we already used that. 6 here. They are 7 for this one. They are so little that they are not enough to justify an entire substitution of a row up or down. But if you don't do this for an entire row, you can't do that in the middle. We proved that. We proved that here, that you can't just go through there this way. I said at the start of this solve that I was not trying to do a complete formal proof of everything, but I still think that it's really reasonable what I'm showing, and that every step is consistent. Like the little parts of difference are just there to justify some modification in the path, but just for one cell, like one cell above or one cell down, that just accounts for one difference in the row or in the column, and for the end, that is this S, that is forced because you must take this one into account, so you need this move, and so you have these, and then you are left with this thing that is out of nowhere, just left this way, because this one, as you can see, is very regular, and it creates this thing that somehow resolves. And yes, I can understand your point. I can absolutely understand your point. I don't have a formal proof of that, honestly. But what I'm saying is that even with the adjustments in each one of the nodes, I'm still in the perfect symmetry. Like here, I switched this instead of this, and to make everything work, I needed to switch the other one as well. So the fact that in the single rectangles, in the inside of the rectangles, you must be entirely symmetrical, it's not like modified by what happens with the extra nodes. What the extra nodes do is changing the movement around, but not exactly the inside of the rectangle in itself, because the symmetry is still there. Where it's not there at the start, but we know that at the start everything can be different because you are like reaching a complete loop, and stuff that is just connected there is not forcing too much there because you are at the end. So like I can agree with you that something different up here or to the right of here could change something, or here, but like not in the middle, because what you have is complete symmetry because of the way the paths work with the rectangle, and still I understand that it's not like the most proficient proof ever. I absolutely understand that. I started my stream saying that this puzzle had no formal proof of every step. I think we can ask the setter for that. But I still think that what I said is an abstract conceptual proof that is very consistent and very reasonable. That's it. So cells can be done with some other adjustments. Yeah. I can't justify more than I did all of my moves, honestly. But what I know for sure is that every asymmetrical thing that happens in one of those would have implications in the rest of the grid, because it would clash with stuff that is down or to the right or to the left. Don't know more than that. Don't know if it's like, I know that it could not be enough for someone, but it's the most I can share. I just think it borders on vibe solving. I mean, I don't think we vibe solved the puzzle, honestly, because we had a precise understanding of yeah, probably, of what's happening in the grid. I think that with the smaller parts, so like the single steps, it's very difficult to do what you said, absolutely, and I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you, and I would be interested as well. I don't know how judges will tackle this one, honestly, and what's the idea. But what I know for sure is that this grid works when you have enough space to take into account the fact that small modifications or complete changes in one of the branches will propagate enough to just make the whole puzzle not solvable, because one of the branches will be not reachable or entirely not recoiled. So somehow I understand why the puzzle is so big, and at the same time I understand the logic that is behind, because what we did, proving what happens in each branch, proving the understanding of the nodes, where the end is, and also the orientation of some of the parts, and we did some local recoil to do that, to understand what's happening with the squares around the grid. I think we had a pretty much correct understanding of everything. The last bit in which you just correct the little nodes that must be corrected, I still think that is reasonable, because you don't have many things that go wrong. Like you had here these two, for example, and an arrow here that doesn't work, and so like you see this one, where could it be recoiled? Like here, but this one is exactly in this side of the grid, so you're saying, okay, if I correct these, probably it will work. And then, I mean, you can absolutely do that and see what happens. Like this one is recoiling here, so there is another recoil up that probably is creating problems, one of those. And so my understanding was, if here I remove one of the horizontal recoil or the vertical cells, I will recoil here and not here, and so I will leave one more recoil left. This one that is allowed for this. I mean, it was just not. It was not just, okay, I'll place something strange and everything works. It was a focused and understood modification in the path. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, the word grid. Yeah. I understand. I understand what you mean. I absolutely understand what you